There you go.
I have a YouTube up on my computer as well.
Okay. Thank you. My mic was muted there for a second. It wasn't muted for you guys, but it was muted on stream. But thank you. My mic was muted there for a second. Oh, we got a little bit of reverb. It was muted on stream. But okay, that should be better. Now, Bubba or Alex, say a little something. I want to make sure the audio works.
You know, you both sit here and wait for the other person to go.
Yeah, it worked. Okay. Alrighty. Well, good evening, everybody. Baha Outdoors stream number 2. Basically, we're gonna just be kind of chilling tonight, talking about whatever. Obviously, there's a little bit of an agenda because we are here to chat because we didn't draw our Wyoming deer tags this year, which we are all excited about. But other than that, we're just kind of going to talk about what we hope to still do this year. Now that our plans kind of went in a hole.
No.
But hopefully our audio and video holds out here. It's kind of going back and forth a little bit, but the first time we actually had all 3 of us here together, which is kind of cool. So if you guys don't know, Alex is a buddy from college. He lives in Michigan. He actually just became a U.S. citizen, like 3 years ago? Your audio's cutting out now. I didn't even hear anything you said. Man, Discord's being a little cruddy right now. He's been calling from his phone. There we go.
There
2
years ago.
That worked.
Yeah.
2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Well, now that Alex is a citizen, we want to jump right on and get him out hunting anyway, exercise some of his new rights. So that's been a big goal of ours. Get this man out in the woods. So I don't know how many of you who are watching already may have tuned in on the Kick stream a couple of weeks ago. It was about a month ago now, and we were out turkey hunting. We were streaming from the blind for a little while. So, but this year would be the year we want to get out and actually do some deer hunting, and we're still planning on it. Just we're not planning on a big trip now out to Wyoming, which was kind of the goal. But us 3 are going to be kind of the Baha Outdoors guys for the time being. We're going to try to do as much as we can, videoing as much as we can, all that kind of stuff. But the fun stuff's still going to happen regardless. Is there only one kind of deer in Michigan? Technically, yes, if you want to just consider them deer. I mean, there's elk, so that's a second form of deer. But the white-tailed deer, yeah, is like the only one in Michigan. So that's why we want to go to Wyoming, try something different. Yeah, elk, technically, I don't know if they really fit in the realm of deer to the average person because they're so huge, they're so different, but they are definitely a deer cousin. Deer species.
Yeah, they're deer. Just like a moose. The moose is technically a deer.
Mm-hmm. They're all acerbid.
Mm-hmm.
They taste good.
They all do.
It tastes good. They run fast. They jump high. And Michigan has moose. Yes, Upper Michigan has moose.
Yep.
The UP.
There are what, 6 different cervids in the states?
Probably
Whitetail,
if you
coon,
talk about all the different types of elk, because there's 3 different forms of elk too,
yeah.
and like 2 different moose. I mean, there's probably, and then caribou. There's like 3 different types of caribou. But I mean, if you think about it, you got deer. So you got white-tailed deer and mule deer, and then you got the Coues deer, and then you got black-tailed deer, and then you obviously got elk, you got moose, and
Sitka are black-tail, right?
the what?
Sitka are black-tailed deer, right? Or are they different?
Sitka, they're technically like a black-tailed deer, but they're different. They're their own little thing.
Yeah.
But
Species.
what else here? Well, I guess what we can kind of dive into just to discuss it is really our application for Wyoming and what our whole plans were here for this year. And I thought moose identified as an asshole. They are very aggressive and massive creatures.
With very poor eyesight, so they attack things quite easily.
Yeah, people actually trick them when they're out hunting by using canoe paddles and other things like that to make it kind of look like antlers, and then the bull moose get all excited and want to come run you down, bite you.
Yep.
But I guess really, yeah. Let's talk about this Wyoming trip and what it was kind of gonna be and how we went about this, and then now that it's not happening, still we'll talk about what it is and the numbers and all that, and you know why we didn't get drawn and how this draw process works, just to kind of educate. But basically, Wyoming, none of us live in Wyoming. It's kind of obvious. We already said this. Bubba's in Wisconsin, us 2 are in Michigan. Since we don't live in Wyoming, you have to do a non-resident applications to hunt in that state. There's very few animals that they just allow anyone from anywhere to come and hunt. It's very well regulated. Wyoming does a really good job with their animals and making sure everyone is hunting them appropriately so they thrive and are there forever. Unfortunately, there has been issues with the deer population the last few years, whether it's from disease, bad winters, or just overall health of the herd, and a lot of animals have either died off or migrated out. So the area that we hunt in, it used to be almost 100% chance we would get tags. When we first started going out there a few years ago, it was 99% chance we're going to get tags. Now it's you have to put your name into a lottery and hope you get drawn. And now there's more applicants by a long shot than there is tags available for us out-of-state people to come to Wyoming and hunt those animals because they don't want overhunting, things like that. And this year they had 2,000 total tags to give out across the whole area we hunt in. So Wyoming's broken into different areas. Most states are broken into different areas where you pick the area you want to hunt, and then in that area you're kind of confined to once you get your tag. Your tag's only good for that area. And there's only so many tags per area. Some areas have a ton more. Some have very few, depending on the populations. The biologists and all that go through and do all that ahead of time, so everyone knows how many deer can be taken each year. That still helps the population and all that type of stuff. But just for reference, there was only 2,000 tags for everybody. That had to be split. But what I'll do is I'll show that process a little bit and show what we're looking at when we do the Wyoming like drawing and everything like that, and we could talk about that. Now, last year we on the first stream, Bubba and I talked about this. Last year, Bubba and I went out to Wyoming, and that was Bubba's first time doing basically any out west style hunting, right?
Mhm.
Was your first time doing that? And
Yep,
so
first time
so that it's a whole different experience going out there anyway. The application process, all that, than we're used to in the Midwest. You just go to any darn sporting goods store, convenience store, and just buy a deer tag and go hunting. Sometimes you buy 10 deer tags, depending on where you're hunting. You're out in the farm fields, and they just want to get rid of them because they're overpopulated. They just basically are handing them out. It's a completely different process that you have to make sure we even can get lucky. And Bob and I last year also applied for pronghorn antelope, completely different species, and there's very, very few tags. I think there was a total of like 75 tags for that whole region, and maybe less than that, and hundreds of people applying for them. Like, it all boiled down to, like, if you wanted that tag, you had like a 3% chance of getting an antelope tag. But what Wyoming does, what a lot of states do, is every year you don't get a tag, you can buy a preference points, which basically means you have an extra attempt to get that tag. It basically puts you on a higher list, higher tier. So certain areas, the more preference points you have, the easier it is to get a tag because they allocate tags for people with preference points. I had one preference point for antelope, gave me probably about a 75% chance to get a tag. And Bubba had that like 3% chance. And for some crazy unknown reason, both of us ended up getting antelope tags, and it was awesome. So we got extremely lucky last year getting those two tags, deer tags and antelope tags, and I'm pretty sure that wasted all of our luck for this year. we didn't get anything for this year, which really bums us out because the three of us being able to go together for this was going to be epic. We were really looking forward to this, I think. I know Alex has been begging since the first time we went out there to put me on the freaking list for this, and kind of was a big punch in the gut when we found out we were unsuccessful.
Yeah, those are the odds, though. What do we have? A like 28% chance of drawing this year?
Yeah, it ended up being like 28, 29% after everything's all said and done. Like, if you look cumulative, it was probably like about a 50-50 shot, but then they start doing all these other little things to give other people chances that either they want to pay more, or these preference points or other things like that. They get put in the front of the line, so it just slowly chunks away your percentage. And it ends up being like all said and done, we had like less than 30% chance, which really sucks. But
yeah, because what did we have last year? Did you have one preference point between like 6 of us, and that's why we had a little bit better than normal chance?
So what with the preference point thing, that region is basically, it's, you have such good odds when you have anything above 0. So I had a preference point. I bought a preference point because I didn't hunt the year before because of us having our daughter. And so I didn't go to Wyoming that year. So I bought a preference point, but we applied out there as a group. We had a group of 6 people, and my one preference point got split amongst all of us. So we had 1/6 of a preference point going into the drawing, but 1/6 is greater than 0, so it guaranteed us a tag, just the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty sweet. But what I'll do here real quick is I'll switch our screen, and I'm going to bring up let's see here. The state of Wyoming's website, and we'll kind of go over some of this stuff. We'll chat about it. Let's see here. Actually, while we're talking about this too, we'll have another set of knowledge base phone in with us, and he can chime in. We got my dad who's going to join us on the line too, and he does all the research about all this stuff with all the tag drawings and all different animals and all this. It's impressive how much effort he puts into the statistics every year. Let's call it. But let me see if I can get him in here real quick. Basically, on Wyoming's website here, they do this really good for people who are out of state. And they're gonna be trying to figure this out for the first time. Like, I don't live there. How the heck do I get a tag? They literally have this hunt planner option that really goes through what are you trying to do and where are you trying to hunt, and we'll walk you through the whole process. It's actually pretty neat. Otherwise, you got to be like me or my dad and just spend way too much time reading through all this and become borderline experts on it, and then we teach you how to do it. Let's see here. Let's see if we can still get him in. Okay, so Bubba and Alex too, feel free to chime in whenever on this stuff. Like, when you guys did this, was it pretty straightforward applying for tags, or was it kind of a little odd?
Second time around, it wasn't so bad. I remember the first time though. It's just you're afraid of applying for the wrong thing and drawing a tag in the wrong area, and now you got to figure it all out on your own.
That's actually a good point, because so if we go to this hunt planner real quick, the he breaks it down kind of for you here. We got select a species, so we're going out there deer hunting, so it's just kind of neat, you know. What do we do? We're deer hunt. And it asks you, are you resident or no? Non-resident. So then it actually brings up a map of Wyoming in all those different hunt regions. So when we're talking about hunt regions, they take the state and just break it up based on the biologists looking at the area and saying, there's how many animals there are here and there and whatnot. And we're only going to let so many people hunt so many animals in these regions. So then you can come through and you can figure out exactly where you're going to hunt based on exactly if you're going to be just wandering, finding public land, or you're going to be on private land. And if you're on private land, you should know exactly where you're going to be hunting, I guess, at that point. And we're on private land. We know some people out there. We go out to the same place every time, and we hunt on their private land. And that is, when you look at this map, Region A. So for deer, it's really nice. You just apply for the Region A is where I want to hunt type of thing. If you draw a tag for somewhere else, you can't go hunting in Region A. You can walk around and look at stuff, but if you take an animal in there, it's illegal at that point. Your tag's only valid for where you picked. And so that's why certain areas have better opportunity to get a tag or worse. And so we apply for A, hoping to get our tags for A, and we didn't. So if I pick A, it now zooms us right in on that area and shows you more information about it. You know, these little blips that come up are actually like public access areas, and you have different layers to figure out what's actually going on if you wanted to go a little deeper into it. But once you have your region picked out, then they just have another button that says apply. and what are you applying for? Here's the options for that region. So from there, it's an application. You pay them money ahead of time. You put money down, and hopefully you get your tag. And then when you do, it's already paid for. You get your tag. If you don't, they refund you.
And how many different types of actual deer tags are there? Right? There's oh geez, I don't even remember them all. There's antlered, but there's that special draw too, right? That you can
Yeah.
also apply for.
So they have these 1 through 6 areas, but it really doesn't matter for what we're doing because
Yep.
in all these areas, they're basically the same. Region A general, you get a antlered deer. You know, that's basically what we're getting. There is another special one here that says antler deer except the lands of the state of Wyoming's Ranch A property shall be closed. So there's a certain area where you're just not allowed to hunt. They let you know that.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of rules to make sure that you're following them so you don't get in trouble and lose your rights to go and hunt up there again. But it's usually fairly straightforward. But so when we apply, we want an antlered deer. You know, we're not if we're just going out there to hunt for does for meat, it's kind of a lot of money and time to go to Wyoming and hunt for that because Michigan's got a very good population of deer. Wisconsin's got a great population of deer. We can just hunt deer at home for food. We're going out to hunt for a different type of animal that we can't get in Michigan and Wisconsin for
Mhm.
a different type of meat. And then also on top of that, hopefully antlered deer means we get a nice buck that can be a trophy, that can be something that is, a nice mature animal. You're not just shooting one of the young ones because if it's got horns, it obviously means it's an adult.
Yeah. Yeah, going out there to hunt for meat, I guess if you had no place to hunt is one thing, but last year with my buck tag, I got 4 doe tags, so it's not like I'm hurting for tags.
Yeah, and if you are going out there hunting for meat and you don't have a place to go, there is abundant animals out there. Like there are all kinds of animals out there, and the ability to hunt them is there. It's just do you want to spend the time and money, to go travel?
Mhm. And like you said, that's the thing. You want to go out there for a different species. It's every once in a while, mule deer will wander over to Wisconsin, but it's not. You're not hunting them. It's whitetail here. It's
Yeah.
whitetail over by you.
So once you kind of get down into this too, would Temp say, guessing the places you're not allowed to hunt are like well-used nesting grounds. Kind of, there are some areas that are like their migration areas, things like that you're not supposed to be hunting in. But mainly it's people's private property that you're not allowed to go to, or it's like national parks or like a wildlife refuge that's actually just strictly enforced. But mainly it's if you can get permission to hunt there, you got the rights to hunt there. Hi Justin, hi Chrome, thanks for popping in. Oh, sorry, there's a moth that just keeps flying in front of my face. So once you get to this part and we kind of know where we're hunting, what we're doing, we have different things to look at. We got application dates and deadlines. Um, you basically have until May 31st to apply. After May 31st, it's over. So you got to know what you want to do that early in advance. The actual hunting season doesn't start till November. So if you want to go out there and you want to hunt from a different state, this is something you're planning a year in advance, basically half a year in advance at a minimum. And because you got to front the money and apply for a tag by May 31st. And then the draw results come out here about a month later, June 18th. So that happened last week. We got our email and said, you guys didn't draw a tag. Good luck next year type of thing. And that's why we're chatting. But, and then it says preference point only here. This gives us the option now that we didn't get tags after July 1st, we can go buy a preference point, and that means now we have exponentially better odds to get a tag for next year. So we're going for these deer. It'll basically be a home run for next year.
I think they give preference to group applications over individuals also. It seems to be group applications have a better draw rate than individuals.
Yeah, so what we do too is we apply as a group when we go out for this. So everybody who's going to be going basically is all under one person's name, and if any of us get a tag, all of us get a tag. So Wyoming has a number that says you are going to be allowed this many tags to give to hunters, but let's say they're all the way at the end. There's only one tag available left, and Bubba gets drawn. They bend the rules, and they give out 5 more tags because it's for our group. So they allow a little bit of leeway when you apply as a group like that. Still trying to get my dad in here. So we kind of have a better shot when we apply as a group too. It's not like this one list chances where, only 3 out of our group got tags. Sucks to be you other 3. You get to sit at home while we go hunt. So it's kind of nice that they do it that way. Now,
Just kind of,
what was that?
I just got to keep my fingers crossed I can go next year because I was lucky. I was lucky enough to be able to go this year, but who knows what happens next year?
Yep.
Yeah, so this year was kind of special in the fact that we had a couple guys drop out that decided, hey, I got other places to hunt. We're not going to hunt this year, and opened up a spot for Alex. It was kind of the same thing last year with Bubba. We had a guy who normally goes who wasn't going to come, so we said, all right, Bubba, you're in, and the landowners out there, they only can host so many people. They actually have a bed and breakfast they run in the summer that they let us use for hunting season, and it's definitely capped. Like, there's only so many people we're going to allow there. Now, we technically could bring as many people as we want if we were like camping. We had a camper and wanted to go. They're whatever. They don't have to feed us. They don't have to worry about giving us a bunk to sleep in. They just would say, pay me access to use the property, and they let us hunt. They're great people. But it's just kind of a lot easier and nicer to do it in that set group where we all can stay there and get fed, and we know the process. So that's just kind of how it's been.
Yeah, 'cause that's kind of what we did with our antelope when we went out there. We actually stayed an hour away and drove in and just paid for the land access. And it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely a lot nicer when you can just get up and you're on the property that you're hunting.
Still trying here to get my dad in. Bear with me.
Yeah, Wyoming's kind of unique, or I don't know if it's unique amongst everything, but when it comes to tags and whatnot, it's nice how you get it. So if you're applying out in Idaho, it's completely different process. They have it's a lottery system, but you get drawn and you get assigned a number basically from 1 to however many people applied. And then they go down the list and you get to select which tags you want to buy from what's left available. So say you're hunting with friends and you get number 10, you can pick any tag you want, and your buddy gets number 5,000. Well, now they're only in the leftovers, so it's really hard to plan a trip because you may not be able to get a tag in the same area because they all could be sold.
Only. Like, there's no...
Yes. Yeah,
no teaming up.
It's rough.
Okay, we finally got him.
Hey, that finally worked. Took all day.
All right, we got the call in now. We got the the king hunter here himself, my dad, up in the UP of Michigan with us now. So
Yeah, he's outside right now. I can tell.
No, I was, but I had to put the chickens to bed, so no, I'm in.
um
I'm listening to the whole thing so far. This is the first time since this whole group has been going out there since 2008. They didn't get tagged.
2008 was the first time that everyone started going out there.
Yeah,
So when was the first year that you went out there?
yeah.
Do you remember?
2016.
2016. And you
20
you have you skipped a year yet? You've gone every year since then, right?
every year.
Every year. So every year since 2016, you've been able to draw your tag, and this is the first year you haven't. So yeah, it's pretty
Right.
cruddy.
And in the past, they gave out, 4,500 tags. And, there was plenty available, always. You just applied as an individual. Now, over the years, it's been going down and down and down to the point where the last couple of years we had to apply for a group. So, one guy wouldn't get a tag and nobody else would. That would kind of screw up the whole thing.
Yeah, it would be awful if just someone did, because the going out there by yourself to do that, it would just, I don't know, it just wouldn't be as fun.
Right. But so now without a preference point, because you can't get a preference point if you had a tag or if you were successful in the draw.
Yeah.
So you either have to get a new person in for a point or end up not getting drawn a year, where now this year we can all get preference points. So we'd be guaranteed for next year.
Yeah, so like this what I just brought up on the screen here, the drawing odds. This was last year's drawing odds. They do these couple different things where they have this special preference point and preference point. Special preference point is you basically can pay double to put yourself in the front of the line. So they allocate so many for these people who want to pay a little extra to guarantee themselves a tag. So like if we knew the odds were not going to be that good this year and we all really, really wanted to go, and we had no other plans, I mean, in hindsight, maybe it would have been worth fronting double the price, but maybe not at the same time. But and then they have the regular preference point. These are people, like I said, every year they don't get a tag, they buy this. And then they are able to basically get in the front of the line with these preference points. I mean, there's someone here with 15 points. Guarantees them a tag. 14 guarantees them a tag. 13. I mean, all the way down, it shows here less than 1 was 100% chance. So if we had one preference point amongst us, we would have got our tags. But then it shows out of all these licenses available, after these preference points, there's 466 tags left for people without preference points, which is us. And that put it at 30% chance. That was last year's. So, and then it goes to the random. Anyone after that, that's just random. Just pick and choose, and it shows the random here. There was 1,082 people to try to get 357 tags.
Yeah, this year's are posted up there too.
Yeah. Did you just play the duck hunt sound? Yeah, there's the other ones are posted as like a PDF somewhere else.
Kevin, do you know, was it the winter kill that was so bad, or are there just more people applying for the same tags?
A combination of both. 2 years ago, in 21, I think, because we were there in 23, 22. What year was it? It was 21, Cody, where we had the EHD die off.
Yes.
And we found all those big dead bucks. It had been 21, or would that have been 22?
It would have been
21.
21, because I didn't go in 22.
Yeah, okay, it was 21. And there was EHD, blue tongue, which is due to drought, extreme drought, and there's little midges, little tiny insects in the mud, and all these water holes dry up, and these little midges come out, and they get on the deer and they bite them, and it's fatal. But what's weird is it mainly affects the most mature deer. And you would find some adult does, and you would find all these big mature bucks dead out there.
And we
And
did.
it wiped out a lot in western South Dakota, southeast Montana, northeast Wyoming. Got hit really hard with that. There were, people on different ranches that said they'd found, 100 dead deer and stuff. Then, so that cut way back. And then they had a really bad winter on it with a lot of winter kill. So they cut the tags back. Well, what also happened was more and more people decided they wanted to go hunting there, and the number of applicants went up. So for the first time, there's been more applicants than there is tags. And we were able to get them before using preference points. But we all went last year, so we didn't have any points. And this year, as a result, we didn't get a tag.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
non-resident
one
random
there,
draw.
right?
This is this year, yeah. So they PDF this, so you can go look through everything, and you have to go find your hunt area. And our hunt area was A. So
Region A.
Region A general, there was
It's
1,009
down
applicants, and there was 418
for 400.
tags available. So, I mean, that's 42% right there or whatever. But
And the applicants can be a group. So even though there's 1,009 applicants, there might be 1,500 people.
yeah,
So once they pull out a name, okay, well, 5 guys get a tag, 6 guys get a tag.
yeah, they
4
start
guys
going
get a
down
tag.
really fast. Your odds start going down. But so basically, I mean, so if we wanted to go next year, the same group of us, let's say us 4 right now, only one of us would actually have to front the money for a preference point, and we would still get our tags next year. So
Yes.
preference points, they're actually, we can look here at the fee list, license fee list, and there is.
Or, if you look at the preference point one on that one, they're $41.
Preference point,
you went
non-resident deer,
Yep.
$41. So one of us can pitch in $41 and we'd be guaranteed to get our tags next year, or we all just buy them and we 100% guarantee it. I think what we did for our tags last year is I actually remember buying my deer and antelope preference points at the hotel before Bubba's wedding. That's when we remembered, oh yeah, we should probably get I should probably buy my preference point for the next year because I didn't go that year because we had our kid. So I bought that preference point and we said, you know what? That's going to guarantee us all a tag, and we're going to have 6 guys go. Everyone can, give me $5 and we'll call it even. I fronted our preference point to guarantee us the tag,
Right, because none of us could buy a preference point
because everyone else had a
because
tag the
we
year
were
before.
successful in the. Yes.
Yeah. The so that's the thing too, is like even though we're going for deer every year, there's nothing saying we can't just start building up preference points too. So deer, obviously we don't need to build up preference points in the region we're going, but if we wanted to hunt in a different area that had really low odds, maybe build up preference points and use those preference points for a different location if we wanted to go hunt somewhere else, but we really don't need to. But let's say we want to start building up preference points for elk. $52 a year gives you a preference points for elk. And, you know, it might take 5, 6, 7 years to get enough preference points to actually get a tag for an elk out there. But you build them up ahead of time and kind of plan yourself out. And then hopefully when that year comes that you get drawn, you're pretty well set for it. Same with antelope, you know. Antelope pretty cheap, only $31. So I mean, but if you're trying to build preference points for multiple states, multiple animals, I mean it's gonna add up pretty quick if you're trying to trying to front a bunch of money for all of this. So you gotta at least be aware of what you actually want to do in the future and plan ahead and things like that. Some states even make you pay the full price for a license. You can't just buy a preference points. You have to buy the license, and then you do get put into the draw, and then they'll refund your money and give you a preference point, or they'll refund 80% of your money and give you a preference point. There's a couple states like that where they take a nice chunk of your money regardless, just for applying. You know, obviously the money always goes to a decent place. We're paying to the conservation of all these critters that we pursue, but it's not really a poor man's sport anymore when there's so much money involved in it if you want to hunt anywhere but your own home state.
Well, and none of it guarantees you an animal either. You could put 5 years into getting an elk, draw an elk tag, and guess what? The elk herd moved.
Yep, there's
And
not
you're
a single
out.
elk
It's
in
not
the
like
area
they
you're
moved
at.
it.
That's a really good point too. Is
Yeah,
getting these tags is just giving you the opportunity to go out there. That is the other that is a very, very real point. Is you're putting a lot of time, effort,
it's
money,
all
equipment for just you getting the chance. I mean, and a lot of times the hunt is worth it more than just the animal itself, but the experience.
well, it's all what you like to do. And, for us, hunting, fishing and stuff is stuff we like to do. And, you'll spend your money on that. Other people, it's golf. And they'll drop
Yeah.
way more than we do on golf and the fancy equipment and the fees and going here and there. Other people, it's boating. What does boat mean? BOAT, break out another 1,000. And, it's constant. And whatever you want to do. And your sport like that. And you have to just decide how much do you want to do it. And there's nothing better than getting out in the wild.
Yeah, I would much rather waste my time, which I don't consider it wasting. I would much rather spend my time hiking, seeing nature, seeing animals, even if I don't get one to put meat on the table in the winter, than sit in traffic. Like, man, do I look forward to that vacation when we actually get to go out there instead of that drive to work every day and back and, road rage and
Yep.
concrete.
Yep. It does get to be long when you don't see any animals. That's always the worst. You go out there and pay for it and they move or whatever it happens to be, but just the pursuit of the animal is what you're paying for, not the, not harvesting one. That's a bonus.
Yes.
And that's always the bonus when you've got your freezer full of tasty meat.
Mm-hmm.
And like last year for us, I mean, Bubba, did you end up getting a deer in Wisconsin too?
No, I didn't.
So-
I passed and everything.
So Bubba didn't get a deer in Wisconsin, but you got a mule deer and an antelope out in Wyoming. That's a lot of meat for a family of 2. Because his son's not eating it. So for a family of 2, that's gonna last you a whole darn year, unless you're eating it every single meal, every single day. But I mean, it'll go pretty quick then. But I mean, so if you think about we putting a bunch of money down for a trip like this, the experience and then the meat, I mean, it pays for itself if I was to just spend a whole year worth of beef at the butcher.
Oh yeah, $12 a pound doesn't take long to ribeyes.
Unless you buy straight from the farmer, which I've done. I bought a quarter cow for $800.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
last
that's where
six
it
months.
gets a lot more economical.
Yeah, lasts for about 6 to 8 months. I bought one in October, and I've just literally run out now. So it does work out.
So now that we are not going to be going out to Wyoming for this deer hunt this year, I assume everybody still wants to do some hunting. I mean, that's a pretty big thing. And obviously with Baha Outdoors, I want to do some hunting. I want to get some content for this. We want to show some hunts. We want to educate some people and actually do the things we talk about. So, I mean, what's on the plate next? There's other options around the country. There's options at home, things like that. There are, like out in Wyoming, there are options for leftover tags. If people don't claim them or the drawing wasn't there, you can dig through and find leftover tags to try to see. But it's usually the stuff you actually want to get out there and hunt is scooped up so fast, or it's sold out before leftover even happens. But there are other places in the country that you can go anytime and buy a tag, call over the counter tags, or if you're really wanted to, you go to Texas and hunt on a private ranch 365 all year round.
Yeah.
And there's still free range critters. They're out in thousands of acres. It's a whole different experience down there. But if it's something that's I need to get out there, I need to hunt something, I need to get some food, there's always an option. But then thankfully, all of us here live in states that we can do a lot of hunting on our own for white-tailed deer. There's other options as well, more than just white-tailed deer. There's bear. Michigan has elk. I think Wisconsin has elk license starting to go on sale, like as of this year.
Very, very limited.
It's all extremely limited, but I think the herd's finally at a point where they're allowing an extremely limited draw, once in a lifetime style tag, which is how it is in Michigan too. You get that tag, you never get it again. Like it's a very small herd that they only allow hunters enough to keep the population in check so it doesn't explode. But then here at home, the white-tailed deer is huge. Midwest, white-tailed deer hunting is massive. That's probably what the main focus will be now that we're not going out west, is either bow hunting or gun hunting white-tailed deer locally. And that was already a plan all of us, I think, we're going to do anyway, is spend some time hunting. And that was a big thing that Alex and I were going to focus on too, is because Michigan has a lot, like an extreme abundance of deer, to the point where they're trying to get hunters to cull them a little bit more so you can buy all these doe tags and help the population, because it's just exploding. And even if you don't want to hunt those deer for yourself, almost all the butchers in the area take them as donations, and the venison can go to hungry families, which is awesome. So you can still practice your hunting, your sport, fulfilling your tags, getting, doing everything you want to do without having to feel like you're wasting an animal. It's still going to go to the right place, which is awesome. And so, like, in September this year, is it September? Yeah, mid-September, there is an early season gun hunt for does in Michigan, and Alex and I are going to try to make sure we do that. Get out there, basically get Alex's feet wet. Hopefully, we can get him a deer, and then that was going to be kind of the prelude to our Wyoming hunt. But that'll probably just be our main focus this year. Now is get him a deer, period. And coincidentally, we actually have a piece of property fairly nearby that belongs to one of Alex's family members that we can go out and use for that, which is great. And we actually have some trail cameras out there now. Shout out to Moultrie Mobile Cell Cameras. We actually got our cell cameras out there and are monitoring the deer that we're watching them all summer, so we'll know what's out there when it's time to actually go hunting.
It's a nice male that I've seen on your camera.
That one that showed up the other day had a
Yep.
beautiful velvet rack already for mid June. That was a big buck.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna be really happy in the fall when he's walking around.
Mm-hmm.
Is everything down here? Is everything south of the bridge straight wall cartridge for you guys?
No, so it splits the center of the lower peninsula of Michigan. So what Bubba's alluded to is there's the notorious shotgun zone in lower Michigan. Basically, if you took the state, cut it in half, the lower half of it, you're not allowed to use high-powered rifles for deer hunting. You have to use shotguns, handguns, or they call them straight-walled cartridge. So it's basically a pistol cartridge that you put in a rifle. Cheesy, thank you so much for gifting to Bubba. I appreciate it. But basically, we have tons of options for hunting in Michigan. You know, it's just kind of weird that we have some weird rules like that where you got a handicap what you use for a gun. but
what's an out-of-state tag cost there?
What is a what?
What's an out-of-state tag cost? Like if I were to come over there, what's over the counter?
It's like $175 or something.
Yeah, it's like 150 over here.
Yeah, so that's the nice thing about these Midwest states, though, too, that have all these deer where we can hunt so many of them. There's no such thing as an application in Michigan and Wisconsin. If I wanted to go hunt in Wisconsin, if Bubba wanted to come hunt in Michigan, you can just go buy that tag. But they increase it a little bit so out-of-state hunters don't just flood in and take all the opportunities away from people who actually live there. So there's a price discount for being a resident of that state, but the opportunity is there for anyone. I could go to Ohio, Wisconsin, Indiana, Illinois, and just buy a deer tag if I wanted to. Hard part is a lot of those places, if we don't know someone, it's really hard to hunt public land because there's so many hunters in the Midwest. So public land is pretty full of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always call it the Orange Army. Deer season rolls around and there's just blaze orange people walking through the woods everywhere. So having a private piece of property to hunt is a gold mine in the Midwest. You know, Bubba's family has some farmland. I am extremely fortunate that my neighbor has 10 acres that she lets me bow hunt on. She's an older lady. She doesn't manage that back there in the woods. She's gave me free reign of it, so I get to walk out my back door and go whenever I want, which is really nice. Question, can deer see orange, or are they colorblind? Bubba, I'll let you answer that one. You know that one.
Well, it's not that they're colorblind. It's they see in kind of, what is it? It's not ultraviolet, is it?
It's basically there's certain levels of the visible spectrum that they're just basically cut down.
Yeah.
So
blaze orange just looks like the rest of the gray to them. It's not like it matters because blaze orange and fluorescent pink are legal in Wisconsin to wear for deer hunting. So It's not so much that as it is the material it's made out of. Certain materials light up like crazy to them. So they don't care that it's orange. I've had a deer almost come and sniff me, like within 5 yards, blaze orange standing up in the middle of a field, and it just walks over and looks at you because it can't tell what you have on.
Yep, but their eyesight is absolutely incredible for movement and shapes. So that's why camouflage is good because it breaks up your human figure. So even if your camouflage is bright orange or something wild, as long as it breaks up your figure, the deer aren't going to be able to see you as well. Now, on that same aspect, there's been a lot of different studies in deer's eyes, things like that, and deer actually have an extremely good eyesight for blue. So they always said if you walk around in a blue, like a denim blue jacket, that is a beacon of light to them. They will see that so easily amongst everything else in the woods. It's unnatural to them, that bright blue. So that's one thing that is kind of a perk. That's why you see like the old camos that are like red and black, things like that, as it's so different. It's such the opposite spectrum from blue. You know, you don't need to have the fanciest camo in the world. You just have something that disrupts your figure. You don't want to look like this weird bipedal critter walking through the woods that they're not used to.
How many people used to shoot him in a plaid shirt and a raccoon cap, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They'd walk out there in a black and plaid and shoot the damn things.
But obviously now camos and technology and stuff is getting so good that having better camo does give you an advantage in the fact that you do blend in a little bit better. But, you know, it's always your movement, your scent, your sound is always going to trump any type of camo, things like that.
Yeah, you said absolutely.
Yes.
The tuxedo of his people when he goes hunting.
Yeah, and deer know like the cadence too, because obviously we've been hunting them for a long time. Like you said, bipedal. If you're walking, the deer understand the cadence and they can hear that, and they get sketchy and they'll walk away. You can actually almost roll up to them on a pedal bike because they're not used to hearing just wheels rolling through the grass, and they don't understand what's happening. It's the walking that actually gets them a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're not afraid of cars.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're so used to seeing cars driving around, things like that. Like it's just like the car does nothing to them anymore. There's like I don't know what that is. It's obviously not a predator to me. Like, fun fact, you can't hunt out of your car. That is illegal unless you are disabled and actually have yourself qualified to do something like that. The average person can't roll down their window and hunt out of your car.
You actually can't hunt out of anything with wheels in Wisconsin, so you can't have like a mobile stand. If you wheel it out there in a trailer, you got to jack it up and take the wheels off it.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah, they do things like that, so you're not wheeling around. So you can't take a tractor out there and shoot them out of a tractor.
Huh. So besides, I guess, our regular deer hunting this year, you know, is there any other thought process of possibly trying to find something else? You know, like Colorado is a state that lets you do over-the-counter elk hunting. Now, I don't think any of us know anybody in Colorado. Like,
I do.
You do? You got some friends in some elk territory? Alex is gonna give a freaking go.
My neighbor's son next door lives in Colorado, and I have another friend that lives in Colorado as well.
We might have to sweet talk him. But there's a couple buddies I know here from streaming and stuff like that. Their dad owns some property out in Colorado, and he's a big hunter. And I mean, potentially in the next year or two, I might try to sweet talk them into letting me wander on out there and maybe chase some elk. That's end goal. I really want to go elk hunting. After going out west, finding some deer, finding some antelope, elk is the next tier for me. I want to go elk hunting. So that's from now until I can go. I'm going to be slowly trying to plan something for that. That's going to be in the back of my head every time I'm thinking about a hunt. But then there's always other options. There's other southern states, or Arizona has this really weird archery season that you can. So what you do is you buy a tag that lasts the whole calendar year, and then the season opens up, and you can archery hunt the deer until the quota is met. And you have to download the Arizona Fish and Game app. And you have to know, has the quota been met yet in my region? And if I shoot something, I have to submit it immediately. And they close the season as soon as the quota is met. But it's open. Anyone can buy that tag and have that license. But the hard part is planning something to go all the way across the country to Arizona to bow hunt, which is low success rate in an area you don't know. Fronting, the money, the time, the travel, all of that. And then a week before your plans, you already have your flights paid for. And the season is closed. I looked last year. The season was open for a month, and it's usually the whole season is like 4 months, 5 months, and they closed after 1 month and they hit their quota. And it's like, I don't know if I want to go to Arizona and hunt in August for deer, 100 degrees, and just yeah, the meat's probably ruined by the time you find the animal.
There's that late season Utah one, right, too, right? Where you pay for like a rifle tag. There's a weird way to get it. You pay for your rifle tag, then you don't go out during rifle season, and then you can bow hunt like from December to like the end of January in this one weird region.
Yeah,
I think that's Utah.
there's some like that too. And then
There's a
actually
couple.
around here they just started a late season metropolitan metro deer hunt where you can go in the major cities in southeast Michigan counties. There's 3 counties, and you can bow hunt all the way through January. You can extend your tag because of there's just too many deer in the metro areas, and they're trying to limit the population. Because of car deer accidents and things like that. So you got an extended bow season, and down here other states have different rules. Actually, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan has completely different rules than here. Down here, bow means crossbow or regular bow that's hanging up behind Bubba. So, with crossbows being so big now, it really opens that up to a lot of people because instead of having to be super practiced archer, you can pick up a crossbow and you're deadly, 50 yards in for someone who knows how to look down a scope.
Yeah, you shoot crossbow a long ways. It's the same mechanism as shooting a rifle. That's opened it up to a lot of people to actually use the bow season, which is nice, but it's kind of cheating sometimes. But
It does feel cheating, and then you look at the numbers and stuff though, and there's no more deer harvested every year than there was
I would
before.
love to know if I could. I'd love to know if I can bow hunt in the city of St. Joe, because my father-in-law last summer sent me a picture of a 12-point male buck just wandering through his neighborhood.
yeah,
there are certain areas that are zoned differently, and you could probably look up the local zoning, and you potentially could because you can. That's actually a big thing is people hunt like those little wooded like chunks between subdivisions. Yeah, it's like
Mm.
you got like 3 acres of woods back there, and they know there's these big bucks that live back there. You just have to be aware that you might end up killing something and it dies in your neighbor's backyard.
Yeah.
But I like me, I'm technically in just outside of town enough that we're zoned in a way that I can do whatever I want on my property, which is awesome. But if I go 2 miles in either direction, east or west, I'm basically zoned in a way that I couldn't hunt. So, there's definitely different ways to look at it. Michigan's pretty relaxed, I would think, for most areas that aren't, major city.
I think I could technically shoot a deer on the lot that I got because you can't discharge firearms in town, but a bow is not a firearm, so I think I could technically shoot the deer that walk through the backyard.
I mean, it is a extremely small town in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. You could probably shoot a deer at Main Street and people would just be pumped for you.
The people like them. They're pets. They walk up and down the sidewalks. So
Man, this storm over here is getting crazy.
Yeah. Is it just like nonstop thunder?
Thunder, lightning, yeah, going nuts.
Looks like that's supposed to get to me around 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows even later now. Stuff's staying up north. It's saying maybe 3 a.m. now.
Mm.
I'm glad this heat wave is going to die down.
yeah, the 90 degrees can stop anytime.
Yeah. It's
It's
been
supposed to
brutal.
supposed to crank back up though. After tomorrow's.
Oh yeah, like Tuesday is
72
supposed to
degree
be like
weather.
90 again. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hunting aside, Cody, my William is so into fishing. It is unreal, man. I can't get him away from the water. I can't get that fishing pole out of his hand. Like we were at Holland State Park on last week Sunday, and he almost hooked probably a good 20 to 30 inch like whitefish, man. This thing was so huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
100 cheesy.
yeah. He just wants
Yeah,
to
we're
fish, 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 fish.
we're gonna try to get out a little bit this year.
He'll have a blast if you bring him over here again. We'll make sure he throws a line in the pond. The pond
Oh,
has
yeah.
been awesome lately. I finally figured out what the bass will hit. The bass are the most picky little buggers ever in my pond. They just don't want to hit anything. But I finally figured out this nice rubber worm on a hook, and I have to go really, really slow and deep with it. Like basically
Oh, we have those,
leave it
yeah.
lay on the ground and give it just the slightest little drag, and the bass will suck it up. Yeah, I caught a
Yeah.
really nice bass today. I just went out, for 20 minutes while Elena was napping and see if I could grab one, and I caught probably one of the biggest bass in my pond. And
Yeah, that's what
it's
William
fun.
was fishing with last week Sunday. Just a fake little fish on a hook, and he was using his little kid's fishing rod, and he threw it out. And then all of a sudden, we felt this huge tug on it, and I was like, "Go get it!" And he was so excited. I think he just ripped it right out of the fish's mouth.
Is it a Snoopy pole? Because if it's not a Snoopy pole, it's not the correct little kid fishing pole.
I don't know.
Wasn't it like a Paw Patrol one or something?
He had a Paw Patrol one.
Yeah. That's the new Snoopy Paw.
Oh, that's the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've thrown. I know there's 2 Snoopy poles at the bottom of the lake I used to live on because I threw them both in the water.
Oh, cheesy. Elena's like scared of the fish. It's hilarious. Hopefully
Yeah.
Ben isn't.
Yeah,
if
they're
I'm heading up to the cabin next week Sunday for like a long weekend heading into July 4th. So if there's any fishing that gets done, I'll definitely be taking some pictures, and I'll pictures and videos, and I'll upload them to Baha Outdoors so everybody can see what William's up to and fishing wise.
Absolutely. Actually, either of you guys, if anybody ever wants to post stuff for Baja Outdoors on Instagram, I know Bubba, you don't have Instagram, but on Instagram, you actually can do a collaborative post now. So when you post it, you can ask Baja Outdoors to collab on it, and I accept it. And so then it would be posted on both. It would be posted on the Baja Outdoors page, and it will come up. So if someone likes it, it actually likes on both profiles. So it allows us, if everyone wants to share something, like I don't have to give away my password or something for you guys to log in, but you can actually collab and do that. And so like I was doing that. I did that with one post with my personal one because it was something that did go back and forth between the two. So I tried it to show that collaborative thing, and it works good. Because then it like sends a notification, says, do you actually want to collab with this person or whatever? Or do you want to cross post? You could deny them. I actually, it's kind of cool too. Kind of a little segue here. Not really a segue, but I wanted to bring this up. Baja Outdoors did get sponsored by Moultrie mobile cell cameras, the cameras that Alex and I use. And so I will be posting all this kinds of stuff about them randomly on here and on Instagram, whatever. But I just got a text from my sponsor yesterday, and he said that July, Moultrie is releasing their version 2 of all their products. So there's going to be a new version 2 of the regular camera and a version 2 of their pro camera. And they're releasing a cellular feed hub, they call it. So it's a feeder attachment that can go on anyone's feeder. It doesn't matter. It's universal. And you have full cell control over your deer feeders, which is freaking cool. and I think they're gonna send me one to try. And fun fact, Michigan, lower Michigan, you cannot feed the deer. It is illegal. So my dad, still on the line, up in the UP of Michigan, can feed the deer all he wants. And since it's cellular, it actually would be a really cool showcase of it if I give it to him and I can control his deer feeder from my house in lower Michigan and watch all the stuff on it, because they'll tell me the battery level, tell me if the feeder's like jammed and the level based on like pressure. So it'll know. I'm pretty sure how it works is you tell it how big of like a hopper you have, how big of a bucket you have, and it knows how much corn is in there or whatnot based on, probably weight. And so then you can manage the whole thing from your phone. It's actually pretty cool.
Is there no limit on baiting up there? Like certain, it's a gallon or?
It's 2 gallons a day during the season. And I think when it's feeding throughout the year, when you're outside of the actual seasons for hunting, it's a much larger number, maybe like 5.
Okay.
You know, Dad, you still here?
Yeah, it's 2 gallons during hunting per day, like that, and the rest of the time, I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't think they limit it when it's feeding.
No, I don't think so either, because there's massive deer yards with hundreds of them in there, and that I have 2 dozen up to 3 dozen in my yard, and I go through probably, I don't overdo it with them. I'll put out 3-4 gallons a day.
Sure. Just
Yeah,
enough
I
to
think
give them a little extra supplement instead of them having to dig through the snow.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you get a gallon a day down here, or 2 gallons. I don't remember what it exactly is, but you can plant 30 acres of corn. You just can't buy more than 2 gallons to put on the ground.
That's what's crazy too. Is like, yeah, I can make the most ridiculous food plots on the planet and have a herd of deer all eating over the same darn radish, but I can't put it on the ground for them to come and fight over down here.
Well, when you're taking it off the field, you can just miss the grain wagon a little bit and dump 25 gallons. That's fine too.
So that's cool. And my thought with that feeding thing would be kind of cool. Not not trying to just like segue into promoting this stuff, but like I thought it was a really cool feature to show off, because it's something that they let me know that this is coming out and I'm allowed to talk about it. Like it's not no hush hush thing. They're like, yeah, spread the word. It's gonna be super cool. It's dropping in July, so it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I was looking on their website. They got ranch feeders and stuff already too for cattle.
Yeah, so they have a whole feed line. The Moultrie, just regular Moultrie, has a whole different thing of feeders and all that. But it's cool. I can't wait till they give me the like care package of stuff, because they said they're gonna give me cameras. They're gonna give me power accessories. They have a solar panel with a built-in battery that the solar panel charges the lithium battery, and then if there's no sun, the battery lasts approximately 2 weeks with 0 sun. So it's actually pretty cool. Like if it gets snow covered or something, it'll still last for like 2 weeks. So you can, have infinite amount of batteries on there. You don't have to change out your old AA's. And then you actually can use it concurrently with regular batteries or a battery pack, a lithium pack for your camera. So if the solar panel dies off, it'll just seamlessly switch to the regular batteries, which is cool. So like, hopefully they're going to be sending me some of that, some cameras to try, some of those power accessories, some mounts and stuff to be able to like swivel your cameras wherever the heck you want. And then that feeder thing would be pretty cool. Because I was actually I was hoping too, like if we got our deer tags this year for Wyoming, I was going to give Rod a call up and be like, hey, sponsored by Moultrie Mobile now, I'm going to send you a camera. Can you go throw it out there on the hill? And we're going to watch the deer and the elk all summer. And I'll give you sharing access to the camera, because what you could do is you actually share your camera with other people. so they can see your pictures coming in too. I actually do it with Alex. My other camera, Alex has access to. He can see them. He can't manage my camera. He can't change any settings or anything, but he gets the pictures on his phone. So I would do that with Rod, so he can see all the pictures out there too. But then I can get the pictures back home, 1,000 miles plus away. You know, what it's probably like 1,500 miles. It's probably more than that. 2,000 miles away. And
Unfortunately, those are illegal in Wyoming.
trail cameras?
Real time cameras.
Oh, well, so that's the thing is these don't fall under that category. Which
Just anything that transmits an image.
so it's not a security camera though, so I wouldn't think it would fall under that.
For game.
So then it would have to be taken out before a season starts, basically. So you could have it out there
Yeah.
middle of the summer. As soon as August rolls around, you'd have to pull the camera.
Yeah.
Still, it'd be cool to get some pictures of some elk and some mule deer and stuff like that running around.
Arizona's the same way. They banned all cellular cameras that transmit any picture or video. So you have to go out there and swap your card. And that's the way Wyoming has it.
Matt, what's up? Want another spot in the UP? Father-in-law would put your camera on the front. Oh, dude, that'd be awesome to have a camera out there on Leah's farm too. Yeah, that would be sweet. I do. If I get a couple more of these cameras, I want to make sure they do get up in the UP. I want to get my dad one. We get some pictures of the wolves up there. Sure as heck not getting much for deer pictures, but the wolf pictures would be really cool.
Yeah, the wolves are still there. Got a couple of pups last week on camera.
Oh, really?
And yep. And then of course I got, my bears. Two different. Well, it's probably the same bear up there up at the camp, and then I had two of them at my house. Two big ones, two different ones.
Have you ever trail cameraed out by your place, Bubba? Just to see what's around?
No, I thought about it. Trail cams, I like them. They're neat. You can kind of see everything. The cousin who owns the land next door, he's got trail cams and everything. So if he's got deer marked, he lets me know. But I've always been disappointed in trail cams because you see everything out there. And you're like, hey, look at all these critters. You're like, I'm going to go out there. This deer comes by this trail cam every single day at 3:30. And you're out. And that deer will not show up for 6 weeks.
Yep.
So I just kind of go out there and know where the general herd is and kind of hunt that area. Whatever
I
shows
like
up,
to know
shows up.
that there's at least something because I don't like wasting my time if I know there's not a single buck in the area. Like that's I don't like especially the property I'm hunting on is so small. If there's no bucks walking through, why waste my time sitting out there? And the thing is, most of the summer I get no bucks. This is not their normal just wandering territory. It's when the rut hits, they start following the does around. The does love living over here behind our house. This is their little realm. But once the does get in the heat, the bucks start chasing them. So then the cameras are out and I'm watching to see if there's any mature bucks coming in. And once they do, then it's okay, it's go time. I need to go start spending some time up in the tree and see if they actually walk by when I'm up here. Because they're not patterned at all around me. They're just, I'm going to go check if there's a doe here today.
Yeah.
Hey, gents, just to give you a heads up, my cell phone's about to die here, so it looks like I'm going to be ending here shortly.
Okay, we should probably just get wrapping up here anyway too. We've been chatting for an hour and 20 minutes. We don't need to drag it out too long. We had pretty decent little conversation though. We got some future plans here.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get out and do a little something here and there. I know for sure, Alex, you and I we're gonna try to get a hunt or two in together this fall. We're gonna do some shooting this summer. Alex did buy himself a new rifle for out in Wyoming that he won't be using this year, but we're gonna make sure that thing is sighted in and shooting the way it should. And Alex is
We
an
need to also put the sights on the
expert marksman.
Marlin as well.
Yes. And we can put sights on the lever action, so then you have your straight walled cartridge gun for hunting down here, because that's the gun we'll be using for hunting here. And then we'll be, yes, like I said, spend some time this summer just practicing our marksmanship and all that. I bought myself a new rifle as well, so extreme long range rifle. So I need to get out and practice hitting a target a lot further away than you could throw something.
Yeah, I want to come over to the that gun range that you were talking about. See what that's like.
The 300-yard range or whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't been out there myself, but my boss said it's phenomenal and we need to go out there.
Yeah. Yeah, we should go out there.
Yeah,
300 yards is all they got there. Huh?
It's a 300-yard range, and the guy is an expert marksman who will teach you everything. He'll loan you everything. He's got, I guess, everything on the planet, spotting scopes, whatever. He'll loan it to you. He'll even sit over your shoulder and give you pointers, help you sight in if you need. And he's got even a gun cooling bag that he custom made. So if you wanted to cool your gun down between shots to make sure it's perfect. And then he also will customize bullets to your gun. So if you have a precision rifle, he will custom build bullets for your gun and give you the recipe or build them for you, make you the bullets.
Yeah. You'll actually work up a load for your specific rifle.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, my boss was telling me I definitely need to go. We need to go see that guy and just shoot with him for a day. Probably learn some things.
You'll learn a lot more.
Probably learn a lot more than we want to.
Yeah. Make you a better shooter for sure, though. You can never know too much when you're out there trying to, hit critters at 400 yards.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got bad habits that are going to be exponentially increased when you're shooting long range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's completely different in the Midwest. I mean, if you get a 200-yard shot in the Midwest, holy cow, you are hunting over some bean field that that is a rare opportunity in Michigan and Wisconsin. Most of us are going to be shooting like 75 yards or closer. And so definitely want to get practice in for when we go out west.
Looks like I have 1% left, gents. So I'm gonna say cheers for now, and Cody, I'll catch you later.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon, so hopefully.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, man. Have a good night.
Yeah. Have a good one, boys.
See you, Alex.
Bye.
Well, 10:30 my time, 9:30 Bo's time. We'll probably get wrapping up here. Yeah, we got to put the kiddo to sleep.
Oh, he's sleeping out with ours, but he's probably put him in the real bed.
Good point. Actually, Matt, yeah, we'll be coming up. The weekend of the 4th. So, if you guys are floating around, I'd have to go say hi. Well, otherwise, we might spend a little bit of time in the next month or two, kind of just moseying around, seeing if there's any other hunting opportunities other than our usual backyard local hunts. Because I want to go out and experience other areas, experience other things, see new things, try new things.
I think most draws are done already. So
yeah, most draws are done. So it would have to be something over the counter or a ranch or something. But really, the goal of us doing this, talking about this stuff, is I want to go through the experience, share it with others. We want to be able to showcase the average Joe going out and trying these things, not some celebrity hunter on TV, and trying it out, teaching people afterwards from what we learned, and just sharing this tradition, and hopefully we can make a little hobby out of this. Appreciate everyone who actually tuned in and hung out with us tonight and watched this, and everyone who likes these YouTube videos I make, and hopefully we can make more try different things. Most of them are going to be how-tos and things that I learn and want to share with everybody else. And hopefully we can expand this even more, do some podcasting style things with me, Bubba, and Alex, and maybe Bubba's got some sweet how-to stuff. He can make some videos for the channel too. You know, we can get ourselves out of our comfort zone and try new things. And as always, if you want anything Baha Outdoors to support what we're doing, let me know. We got a little merch site, but I also can get stuff custom made. Like that guy back there, Bubba's got one too. But and our hats. But we got all kinds of fun stuff. Hopefully more fun stuff in the works. And if anybody else has anything to say, Bubba or Dad, thanks for joining me too.
Yeah, that was fun. Once figured out how to get in.
Yeah. It's a little different because it's not just a phone call. We got to actually set up this little conference call. But I think it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, sure.
Glad we got us all on here again, and we will see y'all in the future. Hopefully we do a few more of these.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya. Good night, guys. Good night. See you later. Thanks again for joining us. Make sure to go follow the YouTube, follow the Kick channel, follow the Instagram. Have a good night.